Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Cloud Gyan. Today we'll be discussing how to host a static website on Amazon S3. We'll follow these three steps. Very first, we'll create a bucket, which is the www.cloudgyan.co.in. We will put all the required website files in that bucket, and we'll then enable the static website hosting option for the newly created bucket. There are two important points that we have to remember. First one is all buckets by default restricted to public access. That is, it is not accessible outside publicly, and all objects in the buckets are private by default. So why I'm saying, because we'll be revisiting these two important points again to see how it works while hosting the static website. So let's go to the Amazon console. So this is our S3 Amazon S3 console. We'll create a new bucket. So let's name it as John. We'll check the option for this Asia Pacific Sydney. We'll keep rest of the options by default one. And now we have the bucket created. Now, as part of the second step, we will upload the file, and this is the one file that I will be uploading, and we'll keep rest of the options default one. So third step would be to allow to static website hosting on that particular uh, bucket. The bucket name is www.cloudgyan.co.in. So we'll go to this, and you'll see that it has got one endpoint, and we'll just name this index document, which is the starting point for the website, index.html. We are not going to put any other details, so that's fine. So if you click on this, definitely for sure it's not going to work, and we'll now figure it out why it has failed, why it's giving this 403 forbidden error. At the start of this video, I said that we should remember two important points. All buckets by default restricted to the public access, and all objects in the buckets are private by defaults. So we have to consider these 2 points. Now let's go back to this particular bucket. If you look at the permission, we'll see that block all public access. This is the new functionality, or you can say the recent functionality, which has been added by the AWS, and it was added sometime in November or December 2018. So by default, it blocks everything. So we have to unblock it so that this particular bucket is publicly accessible. Save this. So that's the first step that we have done. So if you try to run it again, it will again give an error. It will again not allow to access the objects, because at this stage we have allow the access to the bucket, but underlying objects are still private in nature. So we have to make them public. So just open up this. There are two ways to do that. Either you can just click on the make public, or go to the permission, scroll it down, and here you will see that there is our options to access to the objects. Just click on that, and once you click on that, you will see there is a warning message which has popped up. So we have saved it. So that means now it should work, and it will work, right? So this is how you can host a static website. But hang on, this is not the correct way to do that, because if there are some thousands or you know more than 2000s or something like that objects in a particular bucket, it's very difficult or tedious task to manage, go one by one and make the objects public. So there has to be some mechanism wherein the bucket itself uh, have some rules wherein whatever the objects that we are putting up into that bucket should be made accessible publicly. So this is where the bucket policy comes into the pictures. So in the permissions, what we'll do, we'll first of all we'll take off the public access for this particular object, mark it as a non-public, mark it as a private. We'll go to the bucket, go to the permissions, and here is the bucket policy. So I have the bucket policy. I'll take you through what is that bucket policy is, how this bucket policy is going to do. This bucket policy, if you take a look at this bucket policy, will actually allow to access all the objects which is in this particular bucket. So we'll just copy and paste it here, save it. The moment you save it, you'll get a message saying this particular bucket has been marked as a public. So it is highly recommended that you do not grant any kind of public access, but since we are hosting a website, so we need to have the public access to this particular bucket. So if you go back and click on this, it will work. So mm, going forward, if we are putting up any other objects into this particular bucket, it will be automatically marked as a public. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you very much. Please do subscribe to my Cloud Gyan YouTube channels. In case you like this video, please press the bell icon. Thank you very much.